football's become soft like our country has become soft.
And so having said that, I want me some glory hole.
I'm going to drink a lot of Budweiser tonight, Tracy, and I promise you that.
Hello? You play to win the game.
I hate football!
They're like, Pat, how'd you punt so well today? I'm like, good question.
Did you realize that you were a champion in their eyes? Yes, I did. So I packed it up and brought it back to the crib.
Pat, AJ, we've got an embarrassment of riches to get to. I want to talk about great acts of heroism. I want to talk about Pat's weekend because he went away. I want to talk about an insane 4 games, divisional round of football. But before we get to anything, the world wants to know about my night tonight. And it's going to involve Blue Apron, America's leading home meal delivery kit. For 8 weeks, ending on February 26th, Blue Apron is teaming up with Whole30 to bring you delicious recipes. The menu will feature Whole30 approved recipes each week, like seared steaks and warm lemon salsa verde with roasted broccoli and sweet potato, and chicken and kale orange salad with blue tahini dressing. Kickstart your new year with Blue Apron and Whole30. And everyone, you can rest assured, I'm having shrimp tacos tonight, beef stroganoff with mushrooms tomorrow night. Why? I love it for the convenience, the variety. Blue Apron delivers fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and step-by-step recipes right to your door. Sitting here working today, guy comes to the door with meals for the next 2 nights. You can do up to 4 nights in any given week. The meals can be cooked in under 45 minutes. The meal changes every week based on what's in season and designed by Blue Apron's in-house culinary team. Blue Aprons offers 12 new recipes each week. Customers can pick 2, 3, or 4 recipes based on what fits your schedule best. Blue Apron sends only non-GMO ingredients and meat with no added hormones. And because you're listening to the show, they have an offer for you. Blue Apron is treating Laces Out listeners to $30 off your first order if you visit blueapron.com/laces. So check out this week's menu and get your $30 off with free shipping at blueapron.com/what, fellas?
Laces.
Laces, exactly. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. Guys, I was
Laces.
Started to get disappointed by some of the early games, and it ended up being a friggin' historic divisional round. But I gotta ask how you went to Florida this weekend, Pat. Is that right? You got away from the polar vortex, and
I did. It was windy down there, though. 55, 60. I wore long sleeves. Let's not act like I just escaped all the bitterness. You know, I was on that island, but I was in my heart. I was still with the polar vortex with everybody else. You know, I'm a man's man. I understand. I didn't just escape the cold. You know, I just wanted to get the mind away a little bit. I fucking thought I was going to get so much sun, Jerry. I thought I was going to be on the beach. I thought I was like outsmarting the big homie polar vortex. I got down there. First day, it was real nice. The last 3 days, though, the wind is at like 50 miles an hour, and you feel like a hurricane's going to hit you at any given moment. It's like, fuck me. I was having a great time. It was nice to get away, but the football games were so magical. I absolutely loved this past weekend of football. There wasn't so many games on that I couldn't pay attention to every one as diehard because I'm just looking for punts everywhere. It was just like good old great football games aside from the Patriots just blowing out the Titans. It was awesome to be able to look at the beach, a potential hurricane coming, and then turn to my left and see a TV, and it was just playing awesome football. What a beautiful weekend to be an NFL fan. I'm being serious when I say that, too. I don't understand how people don't watch. I don't get it. Big Cat said that, and it's so true. I don't know how people just be like, they see it on the internet. When the NFL happens, every trending topic is an NFL trending topic. They see the videos, they see everything happen. They're like, nah, I don't want to watch. Like, what are you doing? I don't understand how you don't watch football. It was beautiful, Jerry. Beautiful weekend.
Yeah, and AJ, I want to hear from you on this, but quick. Even growing up when the Patriots sucked, I couldn't understand why people weren't fixated on this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just new to this. I'm hardwired to always be obsessed with this. And the NFL has achieved this perfect sort of ecosystem with their playoff system. Everything works, and nothing in the world is perfect, I think, except for this. You know, every team has something to play for to get in. 2 teams get a week off. 2 teams get a home game. Two teams are happy to get in. And I'm afraid that they're sitting there on Park Ave and they're going, we have to fuck this up somehow. We've got to add a team. We've got to add a round. We're going to have a game on in the morning, or there'll be two games going on at once. They want it. Eventually, it's going to be like the first round of the NCAAs, which I love because there's games going on here, and this one's coming to a close just as this one's tipping off. But football is perfect as it is. You get 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. You do that for 2 weeks. Then you narrow it down to the final 4 in the league. Don't ever mess with this.
Jerry, what you said early on you were a bit scared. What'd you think of the Falcons-Eagles game? That's the one that kind of goes I guess Patriots Titans as well. People just expect, okay, yeah, they rolled them 35-14. I guess with what happened in the Vikings game overshadowed the other
whole
3
weekend.
Games.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Did you see the internet, AJ? That was some of the most absurd shit on earth, bro. And a guy's life has been changed completely because of that one moment. Forever.
Which one?
Williams' life has been changed forever. Everybody's thinking about Stephon Diggs, who was flexing and peacocking in front of 30 cameras before the game was even over yet, by the way. The game hadn't even, he was just flexing and peacocking. Case Keenum, good for him. But old Marcus Williams' life is very different now. Forever and ever. Amen. Right. I mean, I got sent a picture from @TheOnlyNation on Twitter. It was Stone Cold Steve Austin, Stone Cold stunnering him. And it was the biggest moment of the year by far. I don't even know what will happen. I don't know how they can top that moment, the NFL this year. I don't know how they can top it. But wow, it was insane. Right. So the rest of the week does get kind of over-missed. But the Eagles, man, what a fucking team that is.
Yeah. Pat, the only way they can top that is if the Jags beat the Patriots and we get a Super Bowl with the Jags versus Philadelphia Eagles, maybe. Yeah. Let's say Jags, Eagles, Jags, Vikings. Well, don't say Vikings. Jags, Vikings with Vikings having home field at the place. But think about it. If the Jacksonville Jaguars would somehow beat the Patriots, not only will Jerry hang himself,
potential.
But what would happen to the NFL? Like what the ratings instantly, and the Jags are a good story, but everyone knows when Pittsburgh got beat, right then the networks are screwed because you have New England, Jacksonville instead of New England, Pittsburgh, and people are like, oh, it's not a big deal. People still watch. Yeah, millions of people watch, but a few million less than would have watched Patriots if it was Patriots Steelers.
I sent out a tweet kind of like bashing the thought of Jacksonville Vikings being very potential. Then people started tweeting me about how wild Minnesota will be if Minnesota wins the Super Bowl or is in the Super Bowl. And I started thinking about that. For the internet-based companies, I think a home team being in a Super Bowl is incredible. But I think for like the mainstream networks, like I do believe that ratings will have to drop because although it is interest, people are definitely interested. People love Blake Bortles. That motherfucker is a straight up legend right now everywhere. Good old double B, Blake Bortles. I'm a fan. Everybody's a fan of Blake Bortles. But there's people that are just be like, nah, I mean, that's not worth it. I mean, it's just, but the Patriots, do you think the Patriots bring a higher rating than do you think people want to watch the Patriots lose so bad?
Yes.
Yeah. I think people
Floyd Mayweather effect.
The Floyd Mayweather effect.
Mm-hmm. Right. They want to watch them get beat.
And so this weekend, will it be a big viewer or not? You think Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh has diehard fans everywhere. I was in Key West and there's like 4 Steelers bars. I'm like, bro, this place is wild.
So you're right. There's Steelers bars wherever you go. That's the question that even like media people ask. They think that the Super Bowl could possibly be immune to the teams being in there. It's such a big deal. Everyone has parties where it almost doesn't really matter who is in it. I guess that's what we're going to see here coming up in a few weeks. But definitely for the AFC Championship.
Dude, if Tom Brady's not in the Super Bowl, I think that's a big deal for the NFL worldwide.
Right. And you're right, because the 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl as well, think of the stories and everyone. The Super Bowl brings in casual fans that don't really watch football. They know who Tom Brady is as a celebrity, not as a football player.
Yeah, he's a world superstar. He's like because I'm starting to think like in England or like the other soccer events that happen, like the leagues over there, if Cristiano Ronaldo isn't involved in it or Messi or any of those people, if they're not involved in it, I don't really give a fuck as much. And I'm assuming if I'm a European person and I'm getting forced NFL news, if the only guy I know basically like a lot about, which is fucking Tom Brady, because he's everywhere, do I really give a fuck? That's an interesting thing. I don't know. Worldwide, I think it definitely hurts not to if Tom is not in there. I think the NFL, I cannot wait to see how these refs act. I cannot wait to see all the conspiracy theories that are going to come up just because of the conversation we just had.
You know what? Any other year, I would have said it doesn't matter what two teams are in there. Well, 99. I'm sure that the ratings were through the roof when it was Tennessee against St. Louis. All due respect, AJ, Green Bay is a small town. It's immune to how big the market is. You know what I mean? People still want to see that. There's glamour if you're in New Orleans, whereas in basketball, it's the last place you want to play if you want to make a name for yourself.
Yeah, there's certain fan bases that are national fan bases, and Green Bay, although a tiny market, actually, as media-wise, as far as the football is like a large market team with the attention they get. And I think a big reason of that, obviously, is back in the day, Bart Starr and the history, but then Brett Favre kind of put that on the map and made everybody almost a Green Bay Packers fan. I remember growing up, I didn't really care whether the Bengals were my favorite team, but I still liked watching the Packers because I like watching Brett Favre. And I think Aaron has rolled it right into that and even grown that audience.
You played for your two favorite childhood teams. That's wild. You're like the perfect All-American little football player. I just learned that. I didn't know you were a Packers fan growing up.
Pat, well, I was a Brett Favre fan, and I played 2 years with Brett. So, Pat, though, I had to let you know. So I just shortly I got off the phone with your new best friend, Aaron.
Oh, did you? Geez. Isn't that just so nice?
No. Hey, for real. He's like, hey, what are you doing, man? He's out in California doing his thing. And I said, hey, I got to leave. I got to go here in like 10 minutes. I got to record this podcast, my Barstool deal with Pat and Jerry. He's like, oh, Pat. He said, tell Pat I'm still looking for my invite.
Yes. Yes. He's big superstar now, too, by the way. He's an A-list celebrity dating couple now. We got whatever they're going to, Aronica. Whatever they're going to call them. I don't know what they're going to call them. I don't know.
Veronica.
I think
Aronica.
I think Rodica.
Ronica?
No, Roderick. That's what I've heard.
Roderick.
What?
Yeah. Rogers and Patrick. It's not great.
Oh,
it's not great.
Who said that? Everybody knows her as Danica, not as Patrick.
I would think
I saw it as a...
You got it, Pat. Erotica.
Aronica.
All right, now be honest, AJ. Did he really say that, or are you just trying to put some
no, for
lead in his pencil?
Yeah,
100%. Because I said I'm going to tell him that on air that today. I'm not going to say before we record, but I'm going to let him know. I was like, do you have anything? What would you like me to relay to Big Patrick? He said, tell Pat I'm still waiting on the invite to come on the show.
Unbelievable. I don't understand how those superstars work. They don't read their Twitters. I've sent so many personal invites. AJ,
have you really?
I think I sent one. Yeah, I think I sent one out there. It was it was a singular.
I think we got our answer right there.
Well, it's a really weird thing though to do that. By the way, I always thought it'd be a lot easier to ask people to come on your show. Boy, it's really awkward. It is such an awkward situation because I don't want that person to think that the only reason why I'm talking to them right now is because I want them on my show and I want to get something out of them. Because I remember how that felt whenever people would talk to me like that. I'm like, man, this motherfucker just wants me to come to his store. Just say you want to. Just say, and I don't want that feeling. But then I'm like, man, but I feel like our conversation would be incredible. So I don't know how to set this up. So I'm happy there's somebody else that does that. I think.
But early on, wasn't it? Did you hit a point where it was flattering that someone would ask, and then it just became too much for you? You became too big for it?
I enjoyed people wouldn't for shows and shit like that. I was never asked on anybody's show. AJ asked me one time, and then he retired 2 days later. He quit. He got cut. Something happened. What happened?
I still wanted you to come on.
He got cut 2 days later, and he never called me back.
No joke, Jerry. Pat still disputes this. I got an email back from one of Pat's people because you can't get to Pat. He's like Floyd Mayweather. The money team surrounds him at all times.
That is not true.
If this was Phipps, if this was you, I hate you. He said, oh, hey, Pat's got a really busy schedule. Send us some dates and times over in 2 months, and we'll see what he has. I
had USO coming up and a stand-up tour.
Guess what? Instantly, I was like, you know what? Good luck, Pat. Good luck with life.
But look at us now. We're back together.
Look at us now. Yeah, you didn't need me. I needed you more than you needed me. Obviously, I was just looking to record a nice podcast with a future great friend.
I was busy, bro. I'm telling you, I had a lot going on at that time. I had a full stand-up tour that we were selling, promoting, booking, and also a USO tour to Japan. I went to Japan, literally back-to-back weeks. There was nothing. I was like, got no sleep. It was like straight from the tour, right off the bus onto a 17-hour flight into Japan. I was dead. I was so confused about me. What's up, bro?
So did you keister stash your marijuana? How'd that work?
No, I never travel with it. That's a bad idea. That's how people get caught up.
You swallow the big balloons. I know.
Ah, dude, I love Locked Up Locked Up Abroad. I love that show, man. They always get so greedy, bro. Don't get so greedy. Like, just take the money. You did it. Good job. Congratulations. Move on, bro. It was a good run. They always got greedy and got stuck up in like Turkey and Israel and all these places. It was like, whoa, bro. And then they escape.
Hey, who was Jerry? You might remember who was the football player that was running one of the biggest like drug
Miles Hurd.
Yeah, where's that? Guy?
I was thinking Nate Newton because he had like literally 400 pounds of weed in the trunk of his car.
No, this guy had like
Miles Hunt.
He had like rental. He had trucks full that he was running. Like he had a full go operation.
He walked out of a restaurant, I think, with a kilo of cocaine, like on his shoulder after buying it from a cop. Like he walked in and bought a kilo from a guy to be a potential new supplier for him or whatever. It was just like he was running a real operation up there.
Refresh my memory. Was shit coming across borders?
I assume as much. I don't know. He was with the Cowboys there for a little bit, and then he was with Chicago, I think, when he got in jail. I want to meet him, though, bad. Like, I want to talk to that guy. I've always had this thought of a podcast. Now, it's a working title, so let me know if you like it. From Yachts and Thoughts to Two Hots in a Cot. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, though.
From Yachts and Thoughts to Two Hots in a Cot? Are you kidding me?
So it's a lot of syllables for a podcast title. I mean, just think of what the Twitter handle's going to be on that. Oh, it's gonna there's your 140 characters right there.
You matched two. It was Sam Hurd.
I was so close.
Miles Austin. Sam Hurd is the one that said 15-year prison sentence. You know what's crazy about Sam Hurd? When you looked at him, didn't he look like a real clean-cut guy that wouldn't really get into stuff like that?
Yeah, super quiet, just kind of chill, no big deal. And he's just moving weight, bro. Just saw his NFL salary as a potential to keep climbing in the drug game. What a guy, bro. What a fucking...
Do you know how he was shipping this stuff across the border? Because I don't know if you guys were into Breaking Bad. I was huge into that. And there they put everything inside. They had a restaurant chain, a chicken place. And so they would put it inside like the batter in bags. Like, that's how they move crystal meth back and forth across the border. Like, how does an NFL player do you
Los Pollos. Yeah,
Los Polos Hermanos.
Yeah, there we go.
Chicken Brothers.
Have you seen the documentary Dope on Netflix?
I've not watched it. I see the headline
here
all
I
the
go.
time.
Let me help you out here.
Okay.
One of them, it is documenting both sides of different drug situations. So, like, there's a gun thing in Chicago that they follow both gang members and the cops on the other side trying to catch them. There's there's Baltimore. There's some heroin thing somewhere. And then there's this drug trafficking one where there's a documentary who I don't know how they got this tied up into the Mexican El Chapo rank. They were at the houses and in the fields where they were growing all their weed. Did you know that marijuana makes up like for 25% of the Mexican cartel's money? Yeah. So marijuana is still gigantic for them. I assumed it was all cocaine, by the way. But marijuana is so big for them. And they followed documentary style with like a GoPro, I think. These drug traffickers, 3 of them, walking into America on their way to Phoenix. And then they also were tracking the Border Patrol agents who were trying to catch them, the exact group. And it was incredible detail on how they put carpeting covers on their shoes so they can't find their prints in the desert. They have these walkie-talkie systems. They have a lookout guy way up front. And that dude literally just waits for the Border Patrol agents. There's like 5 of them. He's like, well, they're going to go on break at some point, so we'll just wait for them. And as soon as they go on break, they just send them. They walk. They're all the way in, and they got like fucking 60 pounds of marijuana right into America just like that. Bang. It's right into Phoenix. See you later. It's an
And
incredible
how much of it
documentary.
ended up at Josh Gordon's house?
That's funny.
Sorry. Love you, Josh. Real
a
quick
football
about
player he
Locked
is.
Up Abroad. There are two shows that make Americans look like colossal assholes overseas. That's one. Because you know that these these other countries just test the fact that we're shipping drugs
No, they
over there,
got
that we're
bad
buying
people
drugs
too,
over
though.
there. The other one, my wife watches it
hold on,
all
no,
the time.
hey, let's dispel this fact. There are bad people in those countries too. Like people forget.
Oh, sure.
Like whenever I was in Japan, there was a couple of Americans that got arrested for they were drunken and doing like bad stuff. The Japanese culture like gets very intoxicated, like gets very drunk in parties, and they make the Americans look terrible for doing it when it's like the Japanese way almost. Like I just think in a lot of countries, every time the American looks like an idiot, it gets broadcasted everywhere. I think there's a lot of other idiots too. I think that needs to be said because I get often viewed as an idiot in other countries, and I would like that to stop. I would like for that to stop immediately. Just
All right,
what
do you
I'm
ever
saying.
watch Amazing Race? Because my wife is fixated on
Connor
that.
Daly.
I can't watch 5 minutes of it because it's nothing but Americans yelling at service employees. Like get in the back of the cab and the guy doesn't speak English, so their method is to yell English at him. We need to get to the airport. Like, oh yeah, speak up. Speak up. He speaks Pakistani, so he can't hear you. You have to scream at him. I detest that show with every fiber of my being just because it makes us all look like a-holes.
Yeah, you got to remember though, Connor Daly, not the smartest guy on earth. Okay, he's lovable. He's cute. He's funny. He can drive a car fast. But I mean, he's damn near an idiot, and he's one of these people on that show. So we're not sending our best representatives either, Jerry. And I think other people know that. I think other people know that. Like, we're not sending the super courteous people who are gonna like try to sign language to the driver where they need to go. You got some hilarious creatures over there just screaming the fucking as loud as they can. And I think other countries know that. Like,
actually, you know who's on this season though? Your very good friend and a man I still want to meet, Joey Chestnut, is on that.
12 pints of beer in 1 minute and 15 seconds. 12 pints of beer in 1 minute and 15. He's eaten 73 hot dogs in 10 minutes. But the fact that isn't talked about, 12 pints of beer in 1 minute and 15 seconds. You don't know a single person that can do that. The 73 hot dogs thing, I feel like a lot of people think like if we were to dip the thing and train a little bit, we could do it. You know, that's a lot, but it's not like, hey man, first of all, I think I could do that. Second of all, I don't give a fuck. Like nobody wants to eat 73 hot dogs. 12 pints in a beer though, there's a lot of people that want to be able to do that. Just a party trick. And Joey Chestnut can do it. And I think that is something, he's probably terrible at communicating with people abroad though, if I had to guess. But boy, I love AJ. Have you ever been asked to go on a Amazing Race?
I have not. I've never even watched the show.
Me neither.
What about Dancing with the Stars? You both seem like you'd be contestants for that
That's
because
Pat.
they always go to the NFL.
Pat would definitely.
So-
Pat's right up their alley.
So I don't have a publicist, so I would never get asked to do Dancing with the Stars. Would I win? Probably. I mean, let's just assume that I would probably win. I can dance well. But I've heard it is very hard. I've heard it is very, very difficult. And I just don't know if I want to go ahead and commit to dancing and being that difficult is something to do.
For 10 straight weeks, if you go, I don't know how, I think it's like 10 weeks out there and you're dancing 10 hours a day and then you have to go the thing that I think would be the toughest. So you have to have a story. I haven't seen it in years, but I was still, Donald Driver was in Green Bay when he won the whole thing. So
did you go out to a taping of it?
No, I did not go out there, but a couple other guys did.
Were you on that movie where all the Packers were on it?
No.
Okay, sorry.
The singing one. What's it called? No, it's not. Sorry. It's all right.
I
what was
just
it called?
assumed you would have been in
Step It Up.
Pitch
Step
Perfect.
It Up.
Pitch Perfect too.
Yeah. It was a good movie. It was.
Anyways, sorry about that.
Oh, my bad. No. But Dancing with the Stars, the thing that I think would be tough, Pat, you tell me if I'm wrong, is the super fake, like my dance just got done. I'm so happy for my dance partner. We're sitting here, we hug 9 times in front of the judges. And then after each score, 7.2, we have to look at each other and give each other another big hug. Like, first off, I'm not doing that with someone she's not my wife, so I don't want to like. I'm not showing affection to this stranger. Yeah, I'm cool. Let's try to win this thing, but I don't have to do all this over the top fake enthusiasm. I just really, really struggle with that part of it.
What you're saying is you don't see how inside you could give a fuck enough about those people's opinions and scores. Right, which is what they're doing. Like, it's like if they get a good score, they feel like, yes, I did it. They're like so happy, and I couldn't give a fuck less.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, even if I don't think I could get excited and I'd fist pump myself, but I don't need to re-hug this girl 14 times.
Right, but you could probably just say, all right, ground rules. We're gonna dap. Just gonna.
I mean, let's just bump.
Yeah, but it's all a big fake festival, is what he's saying.
I know, yeah. I'd say, hey, how about let's be real? Let's represent what a real human couple would be like. Two real humans that have some awareness would do. On your like, all right, cool. Yes.
I feel like
you want to be the anti Erin Andrews, because she made babies on that show. They did dances where they were on a bed. Her and Max, the swarthy, like hunky guy. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. It was the most blatant dry humping in the history of network television.
Really?
Oh yeah, and this was post Peephole Erin when she was still damaged and. Yeah, it was.
I didn't know Dancing with Stars was like that.
Nah, I want to say she was up against, if it's the season I'm thinking of, she was up against a figure skater and one of the Pussycat Dolls. Like, you can't outdance people who basically dance for a living.
Well, yeah, and you know what, Pat, I don't know if you have you may have this because your hemorrhoids and your upbringing, but there's always like one day where they all have to tell their stories about sometimes they had some adversity in their life and they always end up crying. I have no problem crying. I can cry if you ask me about my kids or I watch a dog die in a movie, but I don't have like a crazy upbringing.
Cry for movies.
I don't have a story where like my dad molested me and I got to cry about it.
Everything is like that though. Like America's Got Talent is one of my favorite shows on earth, but it's become like very super like story behind performance, which is cool. Okay, that's cool. But I enjoy things like sports where like I just want to see the action, you know, like because I want to enjoy the shit out of the show, because some of the things you see on America's Got Talent I'm a person who enjoys like random shit. Like I enjoy, like if you can teach a dog to walk on its front foots, I am impressed by it, and I want to watch it. And if you
front foots,
right. Yeah, both of them, both of his paws. That's it.
Honestly, is it real when the squirrels water ski? Because that still blows my mind.
So I saw him at the Indiana State Fair here. I saw that squirrel. They had a cage, a pool basically that had like a fence over top of it that you would like drop like a lid onto a pan or something, and it was covered. Okay, so it was like this pool. This is a real story. It's like a pool, like let's say 15 feet by 15 feet, or maybe 20 feet by 20 feet. I don't know how you do the radius of a fucking circle. You get it. It's a circle. If I looked at one side to the other, it would be 15 feet. And it was a round thing. So obviously you get it. And then on top of that was the same size, like a pan's lid that had like a tarp over it. And they had a sign that was like Nutty the Squirrel, and he's a water skiing squirrel or something like that. They had merch. They were selling merch. And they had a crowd of, I think, 300 people around. They had bleachers set up around the outside of this thing. There was like 300 people sitting around it. And then all of a sudden, next show in 5, 4, 3, fucking tarp comes up, fence comes up. All of a sudden, there's a fucking squirrel water skiing right in front of you for 3 minutes, and then it stops. There's a little song, and then the lady picks him up, waves to the crowd, puts him back in, fences back down, show's over. Next show in 15 minutes. Merch.
And was the local news there, like on Ron Burgundy? His name is Nutty, and he's actually water skiing, and everyone's like, that's news.
Oh, wow, look at that. That squirrel can water ski. Yeah. It was legit, and they were selling merch, so I respected it so much. But all those things, they always tell the story behind it. Like, I enjoy the show. I'm just I'm a simple show watcher.
Oh, and wait till the Olympics, though. I don't know if you guys are Winter Olympics guys.
I
enjoy it, but it's 20 minutes of behind the scenes, get to know these athletes, followed by 5 minutes of actual competition.
I love it though.
Oh, sure. But every guy that's going to be doing the half pipe on a snowboard, we're going to hear about how his great-great-grandmother died 20 years before he was born, and he's dedicating it to her.
I love the Olympics, though. It's the only time you can really just say fuck everybody, and feel good about it. Like, I get into it, all of it, man. I'm all about it. Let's go. I hate that the NHL isn't letting their players play. I loved Olympic hockey. I fucking loved it. The America-USA shit, the Sidney Crosby, I think, is the reason why I'm tied to it, because he played for the Penguins, and I was a fan. But, man, just let him play. Those are gigantic moments where it's like, this is so cool. And I think it's very short-sighted of the NHL to not get the exposure from the fucking Olympics to maybe expose the game of hockey to people who don't know anything about it. But, I mean, that's neither here nor there. But I love it all. I love the bobsledding. I love the luging. Shaun White, he's got that fucking mountain out there in the middle of nowhere. I want his ass to win. He lost last time. 4 years down the drain. Then another 4 years of training. That's 8 years of nothing for the flying tomato, Jerry.
I'm going to confess something to you guys. I don't know how much you watch read Barstool, how long you have. Longtime Stoolies will know what I'm about to say is 100% honest. I love figure skating. Not ironically either. Like, I get into that shit. The World Championships were in Boston last year. I got seats right at center ice for the entire event. Didn't go to every event, but I went with the Irish Rose.
I get it, because I feel like it's pretty insane. That Will Ferrell and Owen Wilson, what is it?
It wasn't Owen Wilson. It was Napoleon Dynamite. What is his
John
name?
Heater.
John Hader, yep, was in it. And
What's it
Jenna
called?
Fisher.
Blades of Glory.
Blades of Glory. Yeah, that kind of opened my eyes to a hilarious another life that I never thought of. Now, granted, I know that's nowhere near accurate, but it does expose, like, they train their whole life ice skating, like, to do tricks ice skating in, like, a very elegant way. And the amount of hours of work and preparation that goes into that is just, I think, a lot. That's why I just enjoy watching people who are good at what they do what they do, if that makes sense. I hope so.
Right. Picture skating. Okay, next time you're on skates, try to jump.
I can't ice skate. I can't.
I'm lousy at it too, but imagine trying to leave your feet. Now imagine trying to leave your feet
I get a cramp.
while skating backwards with 1 foot in the air. Now pick up your wife and hold her over your hand and skate backwards at full speed with her. And once they're scraping her skull off the ice, you'll realize just how athletic it is for these guys to do this. But the chicks are hot, and there's music, and I don't know. It's a guilty pleasure, but I unironically like figure skating. I hope you won't think any less of me, guys.
No, you're all in, though. You're really deep in there. I mean, we were deep into the description of why you love it so much. I respect that. The fact that I just thought about a lady's head blowing up, though, on the ice was kind of mind-blowing, too. My front right shin, my outside shin cramps whenever I ice skate. Does that make sense? What's that muscle? Is that a muscle there, AJ? How do I train that muscle?
Your shin, or the muscle right outside your shin, like runs up
on the outside.
Yeah, that's brutal. I know mine. I had to get some bone spurs taken out of the top of my foot because I couldn't. What is it called? When you could lift your foot up like this, I couldn't do that.
Starboard.
I don't know about that, but I couldn't do that. Lift my foot up for a couple of years, and so that was like a damn piece of granite on the outside of that muscle. It kills. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, how do you fix? Like, how can I fix that? I
probably. I don't know. You should probably go home and take a knife, have your lady jab into it a few times, and release that pressure in your shin.
Okay.
That's what I did. I did that for a few years until I had to get the surgery finally.
Wow. So you got a knife and you stabbed yourself.
Like just 3 small little incisions to release that pressure, and then you'll feel so much better.
I just thought.
And while we're talking about bravery and courage in the face of injuries, Pat, how about your boy Thomas Morstead?
How about that? Broken ribs out there. The brand don't wait. Listen, a lot of people say the game don't wait. I respect that. The brand don't wait. You lose your punter, you're in big trouble. If you have nobody else on your team that can punt, it's going to be a close game. It's a true story. You're deep shit if you lose your punter. If you just start giving the other team in good field position, they're going to score more times than you are. I mean, that's just the way it works. It's simple. It's simple science, really. But Thomas Morstead, we don't need to talk about his tackling form on that open one, but let's talk about his gallop. He fucking galloped over there, made a big-time play. Opening kickoff. How's it going? Hello. I'm going to gallop my ass over here. Ponytail's going to be flying. I'm going to take a guy down who's, a lot of people say, really incredible athlete. So here I am making a tackle. Oh, shit, form's not great. I go a little high, both hands up on the chest. I go down, I land flat on my back, person lands on top of me, bang, all of a sudden, I can't breathe. What the fuck are we about to do? Have you ever tried to cough or laugh whenever you have a fucking broken rib? Have you ever had a broken rib, Jerry?
No, but I've had them pretty badly damaged.
You're just getting stabbed.
It's hard to get in and out of a car, even.
You're just getting stabbed. You're just completely getting stabbed the entire time. It's like you're just literally getting stabbed. And you have to go out there and be an explosive human being and launch a football 50 yards down the field plus. I mean, that's a tough thing. Now, granted, could a linebacker play with this injury? No way. Or maybe they could. They'd be much tougher than a punter playing through it. But, man, that would hurt like a motherfucker. And he did well, too. He
went out for the field, onto the field for that final.
By the way, great move. Great move. I would have won outside linebacker, though, just so, I could have a say that you know what I mean? Like, he got D tackle on the thing. I think he was in, which gap is that, AJ? 1? D tackle.
What?
In between center guard.
Like a shade or a 1?
You 1? So he was a 1 technique for 1 play in the NFL. I mean, I'm pretty proud of that. The other punter was a running back. That'd be good to have on the old Wikipedia.
So why didn't they kick it, though? So the rule, they have to go out, everyone goes back out there and they have to attempt an extra point, but they just downed it. Is that strictly for betting, for gamblers?
It makes no sense, but it made perfect sense for them to take a knee because even though you're not going to lose the game, even if it's blocked, they get 2 for it, you still win. But it's like, well, why? Why are we going through this?
Why at regulation, though, and not in overtime? Like, it doesn't make much sense.
No.
Why?
No, I'm with you. The college rule is you don't even have to bother.
By the way, Vinatieri has scored a 2-point conversion on a play like this. No, the other team didn't come out, and Vinny took the snap, and then he just jogged in. And he has a 2-point conversion on his resume. On his Hall of Fame resume, we'll say a converted 2-point conversion. It was very similar to that situation. Hard not to get greedy there, by the way. No,
it went to him, not to his holder?
No, yeah, he caught it. He I think he moved up and caught it because there's nobody else on the other team. He just walked in. They snapped the ball, and then he just went ahead and jogged into the end zone with his fist up in the air. What a move.
Hey, Jerry.
Yeah.
Were you worried? Were you and all your Boston buddies worried when the Titans jumped out to a blazing 7-0 lead on your Patriots?
You know what? I was in a crowded bar, if you can imagine that. And people were pretty despondent because they had, their first 2 drives ended in punts, and then they gave up a 95-yard touchdown drive. But I'm like, I'm gonna save my panic for about 45 minutes from now at most. So no, I wasn't. There were some people frustrated, but I just you learn that they don't always get off to a great start, especially down the stretch here. Teams have been throwing looks at them that they weren't expecting, but they're just so friggin' versatile, AJ, that they figure out ways to adjust. McDaniels will take what's available. Sometimes it doesn't present itself in the first couple of drives, but take like the Buffalo game. It was like close at the half, and they end up scoring, the last 21 points of the game, and it turns into a blowout. So I was advising caution, but understand that Tennessee's not a terrible team. Tennessee beat Jacksonville twice this year.
They're not I wouldn't call them an elite team.
They offered an extension to their coach at one point, and then fired him.
That was hardcore. The night before, they offered him an extension and then withdrew it the day after. What the
Well, it wasn't going to go. The fact that they were talking about going into the playoffs, like, their first playoff game, saying a lot of it, his job, if they lose, he could possibly get fired. Well, if we're already talking about that to where one game can cause this guy to get fired or an extension or to stay there.
They're in the playoffs, though. What?
The relationship is not going to be good moving forward if you are in that talks like that already, because one game should not have that much of an effect. But so, of course, didn't they say they mutually parted ways?
They say that. I mean,
I'm sure they had a horrible relationship. I'm sure they hate each other.
How many divorces are? You know what? We just decided together that
it was
part ways.
Conscious uncoupling.
Oh, good fucking word right there, AJ. Hey, I want to let you know, AJ, that was a good word.
That's what the Coldplay guy, Chris Martin, and Gwyneth Paltrow. They coined that term.
A conscious uncoupling? What
does that mean?
PR spin on like
I know.
This is just a well thought out parting of two humans. Thank you for all your potential cares, but don't have them. That's what they're saying right there. That's a good word.
I don't want to leave meat on the Saints-Vikings bone here, but a couple of things about the way that game ended. Everyone knows this by now. First postseason game to ever end on a game-winning touchdown in regulation. 61-yard pass play was the longest in the final few minutes of a game since Frank Wycheck to Kevin Dyson, the Music City Miracle. How fucked up is that? And Sean Payton was doing the Skol chant.
When was he doing that?
After they went up with that. So the 4 lead changes, right? So
what
after
happened?
The 3rd lead change, he started taunting Vikings fans doing their Skol, like the hand gesture
I didn't
thing,
know that.
waving his arms. Yep.
Yeah. He already responded to it. They asked him about it in his press conference the next day or 2 days later.
Do you regret doing the Skol chant? Is that what he said? They asked?
He's like, just a competitive thing, just trying to have fun. Now, he's got a bad record this year at doing that stuff, right? He gave the choke sign to Atlanta in a game that he ended up losing.
Sean Payton's out there fucking living. This really happened?
Yeah.
Yo, he's hilarious.
Yeah. After beating Carolina, he was riding around the locker room on a broom, yelling, sweep, sweep. So, and I love Sean Payton. Like, his ticket is punched up in New England. He's been on the side of the Angels on, scandals and being against the NFL and crap like that. But that's a terrible look. And by the way, he coached an atrocious game. I mean, throwing challenge flags on plays he ought not have been throwing challenge flags, right? He had the catch on the sidelines that just because one coach started gesturing that it was incomplete, there's no reason to friggin' throw the flag. And what was the other one he threw? It was also bad.
It was shortly after that.
Like within 3 plays, he lost 2.
Well, he said their monitor. Remember, he said their replay monitor in their booth wasn't working. But the thing, I don't know if there even is a separate replay monitor for the coaches. They are looking at what they play on the TV copy. So I guess their TV copy monitor was down.
So
you could have just stuck your head outside.
So they're at the mercy of the TV copy?
For replays a lot. Yeah, they don't have a separate feed for the coaches in their booth of like the all 22.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Isn't that insane? Like, so it's happened before where a play, is down by the goal line.
Oh my God! If you're friends with the editor or the director, if you're friends with the director of a show,
yeah. Well, no, it's the person running the scoreboard. That's where you can get some home field advantage. If
sure.
Say the home team, if it looks good for the home team, I've talked to people actually that do this. They have words they use. What's that?
Go on. You're about to say. I think he's about to say the Packers cheated, Jerry.
No. I'm not saying this isn't the Packers. Are you kidding me? That's the most straight arrow, consistent organization. And these people aren't associated with the team though. They're like scoreboard operators to where if say a replay looks good for us, it'll overturn. Say they called it incomplete, but we watched it. We see his foot is down. We're going to do is whatever we can to put this on the Jumbotron as fast as possible so our coaches can throw their challenge flag. If it's the other way, we're going to just kind of drag our feet a little bit as we try to get this.
Yeah, there's a human involved. There's always a chance that somebody can be swayed one way or the other, even if it's subconsciously. Even if it's like, okay, I'll do my job here. Or it's like, I feel like I should make that change right there for these people. Like you're almost playing, whoa, that is a wild situation. That is a very wild situation. Right. I always assume that somebody had an eye on all the cameras. Like I assume that. The pylon cam, by the way, made an appearance this weekend. That fucking pylon cam.
Which, they should have the entire field covered with cameras. The NFL should. Relying on the network feed is so ass backwards and so short-sighted. I'll give you a real-world example. 2005, the Patriots were at Denver.
That changes.
And they were on the goal line, and Brady throws a pick to Champ Bailey, who runs it back 105 yards, and Ben Watson, now with the Saints, chases him down, knocks the ball out of bounds. Maybe the Patriots challenge, and the NFL says there's no conclusive video because all our cameras were down the other end of the field. You know what I mean? Like, so you're relying on your broadcast partners instead of just putting your own cameras up like
how many
would
cameras
do in any other sport.
How many do they need though? They're going to need a ton of cameras, Jerry.
But there were none back. I don't know. Just how about goal lines and the
TV
sidelines for starters?
Networks, especially if it's a big game, the networks have 15 cameras there.
I never thought about like how they would get all 22. I just assumed that they would get every camera that the TV people have available, right? So like you know how there's trucks, they have every camera's there.
Should have a guy. They should have a representative from
in
each
the truck
that fits in the truck, because the truck has 40 monitors with all the cameras.
Yeah, that should be an actual job. There's enough people on staff in a building that you could find somebody to do that. That should be something. That because literally, that's a game changer. Because you could definitely you could sway some things if you wanted to at that.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Positively. All right. Last thing, maybe about the Saints, unless you guys have something to add. This just came out recently that people's Apple Watches were getting alerts saying your beats per minute just went up over 120, and after being silent for a while. Like Vikings fans were getting watches, like their watches telling them, "Are you having a heart attack?"
Really?
Yeah, for real. I guess that's a feature. I don't own one.
Is this like the missile thing with Hawaii? Is this just like somebody hacked them?
Right.
Is that what happened? I feel like somebody hacked Hawaii, by the way. It was probably Jim Kong. Nobody wants to say it, I'll say it. Jim Kong hacked Hawaii, and they're sending out I guess it just happened in Japan again. But everybody almost died in Minnesota, and the internet seemed that way after the game, Jerry. The internet was alive after that game. I had never seen videos like that before. Did you see Kyle throw his fucking TV right off the fucking balcony, Kyle, while he's getting yelled at by his girl? Did you see that video, Jerry?
Oh, everyone saw that.
Kyle.
It's the only way to watch a game like that now is as soon as it's over, get on Twitter and just keep refreshing your feed.
And let's just watch the action. And I love it. I enjoy it so much. It's a good time, AJ. Twitter after live events or during live events it's the spot. Facebook is great for a lot of other things, but Twitter is a live event thing. Man, that ending, though, had everybody upside down. Everybody was upside down. Everybody had, it was a spectacle. Everybody was like, they'll remember where they were almost whenever that shit happened. Whenever this picture is shown in 20 years from now, there will be people that be like, oh, I remember that. The Minneapolis Miracle or whatever the hell they're calling it.
So, Pat, I'd like to know what you guys think. What happened to that safety on the last play?
He got early. He got there early. He didn't want to do the pass interference, so he tried to avoid him, I think, right? This is what everybody's assuming. He got there early. He should have just stopped, I guess, at some point and just waited for old buddy to land. But he got there early, didn't want to hit him, and he tried to avoid him, and then whammy, catastrophe happens. The worst thing ever happens out of nowhere. That guy's life is different now. Guy's life is different.
I heard the radio feed, and they were speculating that he was trying to keep it in bounds. Like he didn't want to knock Diggs out of bounds and stop the clock and give him a chance for would have been about a 75-yard field goal, which didn't look like that way to me. It looked like he just kind of turtled.
He looked like he got there early.
I think he turtled. He was worried about interference or something else. That's why he didn't just miss the tackle. He pulled off and he turtled for a reason. The only thing I could think of was this ball thrown over his head, or am I too early to where I don't want to get an interference where they get the ball right here with one more play?
Had to be.
Monday night I retweeted a video someone had done of him animated into things like Tom Cruise sliding across the floor in Risky Business.
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold. The squirrel dance by Ray Lewis. It was just brilliant editing, and it was one of those things. Like as soon as I was done watching it, I just kept rewind and watching it over and over again.
He's such a good player too. Had a pick earlier in the night. Good player, just a terrible situation. I think he'll realize that. I think it's going to take a little bit. As somebody who has performed poorly in a large game and got like 27 death threats. And it was an interesting situation personally, because he feels bad that happened too. Not because he's embarrassed, but because he let down his team, he feels like. And I think he'll eventually realize, I fucked up. And I think everybody, it's a sad situation for him. That's a crazy wrong end of just happen. It can't. He has to feel terrible. He sat up there and answered every fucking question though. I respected that so much. But man, the Vikings, how are they going to win after that? How are you going to continue to ride that? Like, that was a monster moment. How do you, unless you, I mean, who knows? That team looks really good, and they're saying all the right things. Case Keenum, I mean, it's top three things, guys. Above his marrying his wife is giving his life to Christ. And then that moment that just happened, that was miraculous right there. So I think he's right back maybe studying film directly after that game, potentially, because he will work hard and he will do right. So I'm excited to see if the Vikings can go because they look good. That team looks good. Zimmer is the guy, bro. Isn't he?
They do. They absolutely do. And Case Keenum made himself a lot of money.
So much money.
Oh.
From who?
All the monies. All the monies.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who will pay him? You're right.
It's going to be a saturated market for free agent quarterbacks, but so many teams are so desperate. I still think those dump trucks filled with gold bricks are going to be rolling to a lot of addresses. Him, definitely Jimmy G. Kirk Cousins is still out there, but
Kaepernick's out there.
Dude.
Yeah, he's rested up.
I think this is the offseason he gets real workout somewhere, I believe. I mean,
it's much crazier that the Patriots brought in Tim Tebow than if they brought in Colin Kaepernick.
Tim Tebow, not the best at throwing a football. Incredible person. I understand that. But, boy, I feel he was a monster in college. I don't want to take anything from Tim Tebow. He's attractive. He's a good person. He's nice. He was dominant in college. But, boy, anybody that says he was a great NFL quarterback is wrong. Like, I don't think he ever won a game himself. I think that team won a lot of games in Denver. Colin Kaepernick, whenever he was on his run, he was the guy. Like, when San Francisco made it to the Super Bowl, he was the guy. People wouldn't say that he kept at that level of play, though, for the last year of his career. But, man, you have a bad career. Maybe he'll bounce back after the rest of the year. I think he gets a shot somewhere before Johnny Manziel does.
Boy, sitting out a year, though. You know what I mean? And with the baggage and, Tebow brought a different kind of baggage, granted. And I still think that he came to New England just because Belichick personally liked him. But he was the worst thrower of a football I've ever seen in my life. My theory on that will always be, are we sure that Tebow is left-handed? Did anyone ever just put a ball in his right hand and say, here, give this a toss and let's see?
What a hilarious. You're all in on that thought, too, by the way, aren't you? You're all in on that.
No one ever tried it. Here, just have him sign his name.
Yeah, I do the same thing with my 7-year-old daughter. For real. I really do. I'm like, now here, why are you throwing left-handed a good amount? Which one do you feel better with? And she's like, I think this one. I'm like, okay, try that. So that's basically what you're saying to do, Jerry.
Yeah, and does either hand, does she throw better than Tebow? I'd imagine she does with at least one and probably two.
No comment.
Just shots fired from Jerry Thornton. He was not a good football thrower in the NFL. In college, though, he was dominant. It's just a different game. It's a different game. But you know what? He did beat the Steelers.
Dick LeBeau
in the playoffs.
Dick LeBeau defense, one play, 316 yards passing in that one, as in John 3:16.
I forgot about that whole. I watched that special on him. There was a video about him on the internet about how everything comes together and how he decided to change it to John 3:16, the story of how God gave up his only son, Jesus Christ, and he changed that right before the national championship. And Urban Meyer and him had a full conversation about it because it was a different Bible verse before that, and then he just wanted to change it. So, Tim Tebow is a guy that I really do feel like is a real genuine him all the time. I feel like Tim Tebow is Tim Tebow all the time. I don't think there is a moment where like Tim Tebow will be caught slipping, not being Tim Tebow. That's what I believe. Do you feel that way, AJ?
Yeah, I definitely. As far as he's gone, yeah, he seems like he is legit living. He is true to what he puts out there. It really seems that way. I'm wondering when is he gonna find a lady? Settle down. When's he going to find that lady? He'd be a tough man to please, probably. There's high standards. You got to really, a girl's really got to be all in and have to not slip up with how she speaks or behaves, I'm guessing, around him.
He lives his life as if he is Jesus. I mean, like everybody's been calling him Jesus for a long time, and people hate him because they assume that it's a fake thing, like it's a front. I believe that's what some people think. But it would be difficult to date Jesus, I think. I mean, it would be a tough thing to do.
Very, very difficult.
You know what I
Right,
mean?
unless you're one of those brides of Christ type of women. You know, you certainly can't be casually into the church. And
so you're saying
with a guy like him.
if she's like some Jim Jones follower type lady that just this guy is basically my husband. I'm on earth to please my husband in every possible way,
I'm
and
not saying that.
never give him any lip, never give him my opinion, and just be a mail order bride.
Right. Like, what does the Bible say about how I should be a wife to him? That kind of thing.
That's that kind of thing. That's what I'm
especially
talking
now that I find out what Pat said, that he actually can change John 3:16. Like, I'm not surprised that he has editing powers over the New Testament.
No,
like,
he
it's
had
like
another.
Wikipedia.
No,
like he
on
can just
his-
go in and
on
change
his-
any passage he wants.
No, on his iBlack, he had a different Bible
right.
verse on his iBlack. Right before the national championship, he turned it to John 3:16. It became like this thing.
Would it be awesome, Pat, if all of a sudden we came out for the national title, or he got back in the league, he's in the Super Bowl, and he has his eye black, and this one says "suck," and this one says "my balls."
Just a complete heel turn. Just a
he
complete
just goes
bad
full
guy.
go heel.
I would die.
D's and nuts.
Yeah, and he I'm just looking forward to that. But you know what? Also,
How
what
does
God
Vince
would've-
McMahon? How much money has Vince McMahon got to pay Tebow to do that in the XFL? Vince McMahon wants to start the fucking XFL back. How much money? Because that's what that would be. That would be a heel turn, which is a wrestling term, which is Vince McMahon's creation. Him getting Tim Tebow in the XFL would be hysterical. Just the thought of Vince McMahon and Tim Tebow interacting in a heel plot would be so incredible. D's nuts, man. Oh, suck my balls right across. That'd be insane, man.
It would sell out. That eye black would sell out everywhere. Across the
Everywhere.
nation.
It'd be the best. It would be the number one Halloween costume. For sure.
That may be my Halloween costume this year.
Yeah, for sure. It's like He Hate Me or whatever. They had good names over there. They promote like marketing over there.
You know what else is good, Pat? Indochino.
I was
Oh, hey
waiting.
now.
I was waiting
Thanks.
to hear about this new up and coming
Okay.
incredible place that makes me great suits. Is that what you're selling?
Exactly. So everyone, I think you guys will know. So Jerry comes from an era before he met the Indochino people with a big boxy suits. He basically looked like Steve Harvey circa 1999, walking around with his suits on.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, Mike pleated khakis are never going to go out of style.
There you go. Even worse. You are Pistol Keith Hawk right there. Pleated khakis and tassels on his shoes. So Indochino, everyone knows that any kind of suit looks a million times. If you could get a $5,000 suit, but if it's not cut to fit, you look like an absolute idiot. You can tell me all day. You can tell me all day how it's made out of this amazing material and the stripes are sewn in. I feel great about it. It doesn't matter. If it's not cut to fit, you look awful. So Indochino, that's why they're making it way easier. You don't have to go out and do all these crazy things, jump through hoops. It's the largest custom apparel company. I know this because I've had a couple things made by Indochino. Just take a few measurements, have your lady take a few measurements on you, send your little numbers in, bam, within 3 weeks you get a suit back or shirts they make for you, and they fit great, and you look like Ryan Gosling from that movie he was in with Steve Carell. Nice custom Euro fit.
Yeah, wasn't Ryan Gosling having sex with Carell's wife? Is that how that movie was working?
In real life?
No, in that movie. Daughter. I watched the trailer. I thought that's on me. But he looked incredible. And the fact that Indochino can make you look like that, that's something I am on board with, AJ.
That's right. They make suits and shirts made to your exact measurements for a great fit. Guys love the wide selection of high-quality fabrics and the option to personalize all the details, including the lapel, the jacket lining, which is hot these days, monogram, and much more. So Pat can put PVP, whatever his initials are. So basically what you do, pick your fabric, choose your customizations, submit your measurements, place your order, and wait for it to arrive in 3 weeks or less. You can shop online at Indochino.com or visit any of the showrooms across North America. This week, our listeners can get any premium Indochino suit for just $359 at Indochino.com when you enter laces at the checkout. So that's over 50% off the regular price for a premium made-to-measure suit. Plus, shipping is 100% free. That's Indochino.com, promo code LACES for any premium suit for just $359 plus free shipping.
That's awesome.
Fellas, yeah, I got a shirt from there. The Irish Rose loved it. I got it for wearing on stage. She said, we got to go out soon so you can wear that out.
Can't keep her hands off you, can't you, Jerry?
Yeah, she can.
She's like, man, Jerry,
it's the shirt.
Are you going to fly away, Jerry? That shirt is cut so custom. You have wings. Your lats are just like your lat spread is amazing.
That's what she says, I bet.
It's enough to create the illusion that there's actually some well-defined lats there, which you're not going to find this time of year because for me, it's all post-holiday, it's heavy flannel, fleece rather, and playoff football. So there's a lot of extra booze being drunk this time of year.
Oh, so you're getting after a little bit. You're tying one on. Well, the reason is because it's football season. It's the greatest part of the football season. And we on this show are the ones that give you enough information that you're going to know exactly what's going to happen this upcoming Sunday. So now that you know what's going to happen, I think it's time for you to make some fucking money off it. You need to go to mybookie.ag, the #1 rated online sportsbook. With your fantasy football season over, the only way to use your sports knowledge to win cash is by betting at MyBookie, the sportsbook that makes it easy to deposit and even easier to cash out your fat ass winnings. Okay, AJ, your fat ass winnings.
Yeah, I think I read that. That's in the copy, right?
Yep, for sure. They have odds on everything, live betting, and an all-new prop builder. Create your own bet slips, bet how you want. You bet with your friends, bet on everything. You can bet everything at mybookie.ag. Bet from your desktop, tablet, or on their world-class mobile site that lets you bet anytime, anywhere. MyBookie offers fast as no-hassle payouts when you win. Join now, and MyBookie will match your deposit with up to a 50% bonus. Wow, it's free money, Bob.
Bob. Who's Bob?
Are you serious? Wow. Just use promo code LACES when you're making your account. Visit mybookie.ag today and bet on the internet's favorite sportsbook where you play, you win, you get paid. MyBookie.ag, promo code LACES. Get 50% bonus on your money. You're already making money just for signing up. Then we're going to tell you who to bet on. You're making even more money. Cash out all the time. You play, you win, you get paid. MyBookie.ag, promo code LACES.
Pat, I feel like AJ and I blanked on a movie quote or something. Get paid, Bob? Who? What? What's
Bob.
that from?
I was just like Bob Barker. I think you talked.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought maybe what about Bob?
No.
Yeah, I was running through a mental Rolodex of gambling movies. Spent a lot of time over the weekend quoting Rounders or over a poker game. But
the Oreo. You got to watch which way the cream goes. You know, that's a big deal. A lot of life decisions being made that way.
I'll splash the chips in my fucking club. You know who had a really terrible weekend?
You didn't nail it, Jerry. I'm sorry. You were not spot on there.
No, I was going half measures. You know what? I didn't want to own that one. I just wanted to casually.
It's tough to do movie lines when you don't get them. When you only get about 40% of the correct movie lines.
Now he just gave a percentage of how much he judged you. He said only 40% of that.
I'm sorry. I haven't seen Jerry in a while. It's been a while. It's been like 10 days between them. I just like to see his face and talk to him and hear his awesome movie lines.
And abuse me and just question my age and question the part of the country I'm from. I love it. It's for the good of the show.
What's the alternative, Jer? When people say, oh, man, you're old. Yeah, what? I'd rather be dead? Who cares?
Yeah, what do you want?
Absolutely. I'm the age I am. You
look great.
I feel like keep it contemporary. I'm not going to sit here and wear a backwards baseball hat, baggy pants. But nobody wears that. Fellow kids.
But nobody dresses like that. Nobody dresses like that anymore. I don't think.
Right.
Logan Paul.
Exactly. Except guys that are trying to.
Logan Paul. If Jerry would start acting like Logan Paul, I think we'd all be much happier, Jerry.
Yes, we would.
What a human, dude. That guy, he's got a allegiance of fans. The Paul brothers are going to be billionaires before anybody else. They got that the legion of fans that nobody understands. Like nobody knows how large they are. Is
he going to be back from this? Is Logan going to make it? make it all the way back from this?
His fans that he makes all of his money off of and everything off of will ride or die with him, I think, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure.
Sure.
I feel like he's one of those guys that if he told everyone, grab a razor and open a vein right now, there'd be 10 million American kids standing there dripping from the wrist going, okay, now what happens? What do we do next?
I don't think he would do that. You know what?
No, I'm saying he would. I'm saying he has that power is all I'm saying. I'm not accusing him of trying to create a mass suicide cult. I'm saying that's the kind of juice that he has with the under 20 crowd.
The interesting thing that I see from it all is like Jake Paul, for instance, he stopped an app. Jake Paul stopped Vine. That's what happened. Jake Paul ran Vine. All of his followers just came because of his Vine. They couldn't come to an agreement with Vine. He goes to YouTube. Vine's like, they don't come to an agreement. Jake Paul basically told Vine that you're going to have to pay me for this. And I believe. And Vine said no. He goes to YouTube. Vine is no longer, and he's just got $1 billion probably in the bank account. Somebody called him a snake. They said, Jake, you're a snake, Paul. And he said, well, then I'll make a snake shirt. And he did the dodgeball hiss into the ladies, and he made $1 million off a T-shirt that day. It's just like everything the Paul brothers do. They own a entire generation on the internet. It's wild how big they are.
I got neighbors whose kids are starting to say like YouTube star is what they want to do for work. Like it's becoming a legit career. I mean, between the guys who review video games, the Smosh guys or whatever.
Money, they can make tons of money. My 7-year-old daughter watches YouTube clips on for a treat. I'll let her watch her little YouTube things, and it's videos of little kids opening toys and coming up with their own little games, and they watch it and they think it's awesome. And so, I don't know. Yeah. It's a different world.
I never know how to pronounce his name. Is it PewDiePie or PewDiePie? Guy who reviews video games and made $15 million last year.
Yeah, they had the old Nazi comment though, and he got derailed for a bit.
Let that be a lesson, kids.
The old
you
Nazi
can make a good
comment.
living. Right. You got to bring the content, and you got to stay away from pro-Nazi stuff. It's not hard to do.
Jared, what was that when I cut you off after your amazing movie lines from Rounders from Teddy KGB? What game were you talking about?
Oh, who had a bad weekend? Mike Tomlin had a bad weekend.
Oh yeah.
Atrocious. And and because there's an old expression that goes, "It's not enough that I succeed; others must also fail for me to be truly happy." Someone on Twitter said, "You've got to listen to Pittsburgh Sports Radio," and Alexa, put on Twitter Sports Radio. I'm sorry, put on Pittsburgh Sports Radio, and I did, and I listened to those guys. You talk about a suicide cult. They're furious at everything. They're mad at Tomlin.
Diggs,
he made a series of bad decisions.
My guy in his office, Diggs. We grew up on the same street. He is a diehard Pittsburgh fan, diehard Steeler fan. Like he came into work the next day miserable. Like I was actually confused on why he looked so terrible, right? So I was like, man, you look fucking bad, bro. He was like 45 points to Jacksonville, to fucking Jacksonville. He went on a real rant, and Pittsburgh fans are not happy. The Steelers-Patriots rematch was something that was being talked about beforehand by everybody. It was being slated to be the greatest, another great legacy of games with the Patriots and the Steelers, and then whammy, Saxonville comes in with their fucking defense and just ruins it all. I've been saying it since the beginning, guys. I'm with Saxonville. I'm with Saxonville, guys. You know it. I know it. I'm with Saxonville, AJ.
I know. I mean, they did more this weekend to persuade me, but I just still don't see how they get past the Patriots. If Tom Brady throws 5 interceptions, then Jacksonville has a chance.
Which is possible. That defense is acting like the Seahawks defense. That Jaguars defense feels like the Seahawks defense from back in the day. They are very confident. They went into that Steelers game very confident. I watched the prime Deion Sanders interview with Leonard Fournette after an NFL Prime or whatever that show, LaDainian Tomlinson and Deion Sanders. Deion said there ain't nobody good at onside kicks. Just watch a film, bro. Just stop it, all right? Just stop it. But They talked to Fournette after the game, and Jalen Ramsey came in, and Bouye, what's the other corner?
AJ Bouye.
Bouye. They came into the shot, and I ain't never seen a group that was that confident in my life. Like they were very confident. Like they went into that Pittsburgh game dressing. Like Prime said to Fournette, he said, "Oh, that looked like an outfit that you chose. Like you knew you guys were going to win because it was like a very loud outfit, you know." And they all were like, "Yeah, we were very comfortable because that's a big deal, you know, like dressing very loud and flashy because you're going to have to talk to the media after a game if you're going to lose. I mean, it's an interesting thing. It's a big decision each week to figure out what the fuck you're going to wear. I think is it not, AJ? Except for with Indochino, I wish I had Indochino when I was in the league." But they are confident as a motherfucker, Jerry. And I don't know if they're going to win, but I think this game is going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a good game.
And I respect Jacksonville. I really do. But there's things about them that I just can't process. Like, you know, Ben Roethlisberger, 469 yards and 5 touchdowns. Like, I want to compare them to the great defenses we've seen.
Right.
Denver a couple of years ago. You mentioned Seattle, you know, going back to the old Ravens defense. But when did any of those teams ever give up 469 yards and 42 points and 5 touchdowns in a game?
Yeah, I guess you're right. But 2 Hail Marys almost. Nah, not really. I guess that Antonio Brown one was long. You're right. You're 100% right, though. I never even thought of that.
What could give him a chance, Jerry, is if the weather is just awful and the passing game is almost negated to where they're going to have to super short passes. It's too windy, whatever's going on, and you got to keep it on the ground. Then Jacksonville may have a little bit of an advantage with Fournette and how they run.
Sure, there's sick talent at every level of that defense, too. I mean, you mentioned the corners. I'll throw in Calais Campbell, whatever.
Yeah. He's a monster.
A guy who's basically a safety-sized guy playing defensive end in the NFL and playing really well. I mean, I just think they're stacked and they got a running game. That used to be a formula for winning. I'm not convinced it can't still win. So, again, that's out of respect for that team. But the other thing about that defense is they score every single week. Yeah. That's fucked up. You can almost just guarantee that they're going to get at least one pick six or would they have a 50-yard scoop and score?
They are a greedy defense, aren't they? They are a big greedy. I like the way they play.
How many turnovers? Do they have just 2 turnovers and 1 touchdown?
You know what? There's 2 that I can think of that both led directly to scores.
And you got got the Patriots by how much, Jerry?
What's that now?
How much you got the Patriots by how much?
The spread is 13.5. You know what? Listen, the spread was 14. No, I'm sorry. Strike that. I'm confusing it with the Titans game. It's 9. It opened at 9. I don't know what it's doing right now.
Dang.
Yeah.
So who do you got?
I'm still going to take the Patriots, but I'm not going to sit here and go, it's a blowout.
Well, 10 points is a blowout. In the playoffs, 2 scores is a blowout. Right. I mean, that's a big. A lot of games are so close. Now, granted, not Patriots games. They beat me by, not me, but the team I was on by, I think, well, I guess they beat me then. You get it. They beat us by like 50, I think, a couple times. It's like, well, maybe that'll happen. You don't think that'll happen this weekend, or do you think it will? Do you think it'll be floodgates open if Bill Belichick and Matt Patricia are scheming against Blake Bortles and the Jacksonville Jaguars, or do you think it's going to be close?
I think they're covering, but but the backdoor cover is what concerns me. So I think they win convincingly and maybe still don't cover. Does that make sense? I mean, I thought the same thing about the Tennessee game. I said I wouldn't bet that at 13.5 is what it closed at.
Who do you got, AJ?
I turned out to be wrong.
Who do you got?
I mean, I still have the Patriots.
Wow. And
I think if it's decent weather, but it's not too windy, I think they'll probably even cover that 9 points.
Right. Now, but before we get to the Falcons-Eagles, because there's so much going on with the Eagles, is there anything to Pittsburgh looking ahead? Like, I feel like I've already know the answer, like AJ's going to say that's all bullshit. Bulletin board fodder, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I'll cut you off. Who was the O-lineman that came out and said, what did he say? It's embarrassing?
David DeCastro, yep.
What were his exact words? He said embarrassing and something else.
I wrote about it, but I remember the word embarrassing specifically.
How guys were speaking about like this they were basically looking past the Jags. He basically said it's embarrassing, this like infatuation we have with the Patriots. He didn't say like we looked past them, but it's what you're basically saying indirectly, that we looked past this team because we mentioned multiple times publicly that we will be playing the Patriots next. But it almost like the infatuation they have with the Patriots is embarrassing. I like that he came out and said that. I'm not claiming that they really overlooked them. Maybe they did. Maybe they thought they were going to just run them off the field. And I know the Jags now are coming back saying, I mean, Jalen Ramsey's amazing. Any interview he does, saying they act like we didn't blast them last time we played them in their house, or like we killed these guys, and they give us no respect, so we came out ready to roll. But the fact is, you scored on defense, you turned the ball over, and Pittsburgh still was in it and had a chance to win, and they had some poor coaching choice. So, like, yeah, they definitely beat up the Steelers and played really well, but the Steelers still had every chance to win that game with the turnovers, with the score on defense for Jacksonville. So I don't know if they overlooked it. I don't know, maybe early on, especially in the game, that may be why they got a slow start, but I just don't think there's anything to like overlooking teams. I don't think that's a real thing.
Well, see, DeCastro mentioned that the last time we played Jacksonville, we lost 30-9. And why are we even talking about New England? Which I think is a valid point by him. And he sort of seems to me to be like, a guy who's a pro and just wants people to stay focused. So for people who don't know, Mike Mitchell said something along the lines of, we'll play them in New England, we'll play them in Pittsburgh, we'll play them in hell, we'll play them in Haiti, which I feel was like the triple bulletin board fodder, because he's ripping on both the Patriots, the Jaguars, and Haiti, if you want to take it that way. And then Le'Veon Bell is saying like, oh, we're going to have 2 round 2s in back-to-back weeks, meaning second games against opponents. But Bell also talked about his contract in the middle of the week.
Yeah, I don't understand. I think that's the biggest issue I have. I think teams and players looking ahead happens naturally, because you can't just think about what you're playing and what you're doing this week for fucking however many hours there are in a week. I think the thinking ahead naturally, like, okay, so if we get this game, we got to go up to New England. All right, and let's just hope that the weather's warm. Like, that type of shit happens, right, in-house. But letting it out to the media, I think, is what the big deal is. It's like, why add an extra layer of bullshit to deal with, right? Like, that's everybody's big thing. Like, why is there just extra bullshit always coming out of that locker room? And I have no clue why. I really don't know. There's such a talented group of fucking players. It's like, man, you guys got it together. You got Ben threatening to retire mid-year. Like, let's not just act like it's everybody else. Like, Ben at one point, like, was like going to retire this year, and everybody's like, oh, come on, dog, stick around, you're really fucking good at football. And then you got all this stuff. It's a very interesting thing, and I think it all stems around them not paying Le'Veon Bell last year. And I think that's a big fucking ordeal. I think the franchise tag thing might burn Pittsburgh down. I mean, who knows what's going to happen. Lev Bell just retires for a year, says see you later, and then he's back. I mean, he's going to make money somewhere for sure. But think about the internet with Le'Veon Bell out for a year and his training. Ezekiel Elliott went down to Cabo for 4 weeks, and there was just pictures of him training everywhere. I couldn't even imagine what that would become. It's a very interesting situation there. I don't know how they fix it. I have no idea how they fix it.
I feel like they're crying out for, and they won't make a change, but a real hard skull, old school Tom Coughlin type. Because, I mean, just to focus them, to stop the shutting down comments where you're talking about your contract and the playoffs. Antonio Brown in the locker room last year, while his head coach is saying, watch the social media this week, is literally Facebook living his comments for like 20 minutes. And then how does it manifest itself in games? Antonio Brown, there's like less than 30 seconds to go. He cut inbounds to try to get extra yards. There wasn't a chance on God's green earth he was going to score, but he didn't step out of bounds. I feel like it's all just part of the same.
Yeah, but I don't think you
chaos.
should compare that, because I think Antonio Brown, when he gets on the field, he balls like a motherfucker. He probably thought he could shake that guy, by the way. He probably thought he could get that guy to miss him and go into the end zone. I bet you, I honestly believe that that's what he was thinking. Yeah. Now, listen, this is just coming from a guy who has had to run straight at him with a wide open field, and he gave a hiya, and I fucking ended up on the ground right in front of my whole family in my hometown. So that's what I'm saying. But I do believe all the comments, just the shit that, like, Martavis Bryant is an incredible football player, and then he wanted traded at one point, I think, and that got leaked to the public, whether it was him or his agent leaking that. It's like, man, there just seems to be a lot of shit going on. I don't know what's going on behind closed doors there. There must be some wild shit going on there. But Debo, think about fucking James Harrison. He was posting videos on social media that was like, they got this motherfucker standing on the sideline. And he's like flexing in the fucking. I'm like, bro, that's a wild statement to be making, too. He's like threatening almost like the everything. It's like, he's not happy to be there. It seems like nobody's happy to be there. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know why that is.
And he had someone saying that he didn't do shit to help the young guys, the rookies. What's it? T.J. Watt's brother. I'm sorry, T.J. Watt, not J.J. Watt. It's brother. J.J. Watt's brother, T.J. Watt. It's easy for me to say. Mm-hmm. Anyway, like guys were saying, oh, he didn't work with the young guys at all, and then someone just found something on YouTube of him literally doing that during OTAs, just working with guys one-on-one. So he's out of that madness, and he's playing with an edge and playing a lot of snaps too for an old guy that couldn't make the field in Pittsburgh.
Well, it's the beginning of the season for him. He's fresh, and he doesn't stop training like he's full. He gets more cups on his body and needles in there. I just watch every day. It's on the internet. I mean, it's on. I don't think he ever stops working out. I don't know how it does it. He's ready to go, and he is a monster of a man. His workouts are. They can't be fake weights, I don't think, because the bar bends. So I don't know if there is such a thing. The wild shit he does is insane. He's an animal. I think that's why the Patriots. I think I want the Jaguars to win bad, by the way, just because I called them early, but I just don't understand how it happens. And then for the Vikings-Eagles game, the fucking Eagles showed up out of nowhere, and the Vikings just got off the highest high of all time. I don't know I don't know what you do there. So I think the Eagles Foles might be in the mother. What do you do with Foles and Carson Wentz? What do you do with that offseason? What do you do with that?
Keep Carson Wentz.
For sure, but you're going to get a great draft pick probably for Foles. So now we got quarterbacks on the market all over the place. It's like, it's an interesting world right now.
Yeah, and I look at that Eagles team, and they look to me like the formula for how you win a championship. Like they dominate on both sides of the line. This was Foles' line. This to me like says this is how you win a championship. You don't have to go out and throw for 500 yards. 23 for 30, 246 yards, no touchdowns but no picks. You know what I mean? Like take care of the ball.
Game manager, huh? The ultimate game manager.
Trent
Dilfer. and let your fat guys dominate on the line, and that's how you beat a really good team. In the Falcons that have talent all over the goddamn place. You beat them with, Fletcher Cox and Jernigan, and you have huge. Their offensive line had a great game too. What's his name? Wisniewski? Stefan Wisniewski is the guy I'm thinking of, who was just cleating people. That's a good team all around.
I like the fact that Nick Foles. Peterson's a good guy too. That coach is a good dude. I feel like every time he talks, I enjoy it. And I feel like every time I hear him on mic'd up, his players like him. I think players actually like him over there, like a lot. Like I think he's a pretty genuine coach, like happy, funny, smart, good coach. And I think the fact that they just have a plenty of quarterbacks over there that are great is good news for them in their future. But good for Philadelphia. Those fans, they fucking deserve it, man. Philadelphia fans deserve it. And if Philadelphia people would be happier, it'd be great for everybody. You know what I mean? Like I think if their team does really well, it'd be happier. It would be a happier world because Philadelphia people are pretty notoriously negative whenever it comes to sports because that's like their thing. They're loyal, diehard fans, and they just are rabid, and their team always lets them down. This year may be the year, Jerry. This year may be the year, Jerry. The Eagles do it.
And I think there's something to this being underdogs. They're underdogs again, and. We talked about last week whether that would have any sort of bearing. Does that give them sort of a competitive edge? They heard it because I don't know if you saw the guys coming off the field wearing the rubber German Shepherd masks. Like you only do that if you know that is really important to you, that you take the time to go out and buy a friggin' rubber dog mask. Like
numerous
in the end zone seats in Cleveland.
Numerous masks, not just one. There was numerous. I only saw the one, and I guess there was a few, and now they're letting people wear them into the stadium. I mean, now, granted, there's going to be some genius that's going to put a flask up there on the top, and it's going to be inside the plastic, and it's going to come down through the nose, I believe, of the dog. It's going to be a flask straight to the mouth. They're going to get that past security. You're welcome for the redneck ingenuity there for you. But I enjoyed that little play on words there. I enjoyed that a lot. I enjoyed that they did that. I enjoyed the dogmas.
those rubber masks are creepy as fuck, by the way. That it's too much like The Shining. I don't know. That was just horrifying. It was like when one of those furry conventions are in town and all the perverts are walking the streets wearing animal costumes and shit. I know that's not what the Eagles were going for, but I didn't realize that they had done it till after the game was over, and I was 6 beers deep into my afternoon, and that creeped me right out. So who do we like, by the way?
I like the Eagles against the Vikings because the Vikings can't do what they just did, and I think the Jacksonville Jaguars will definitely cover. I don't know if they'll win. I know they'll definitely cover.
I like the Minnesota Vikings because I just think their defense is legit. I think they're going to stifle the Philadelphia offense a little bit.
RPOs. RPOs. You think they're going to stop the RPOs? I don't know if the RPOs are stoppable because if I hear the word fucking RPO again, letters. Jesus.
Who's doing that game? Do you know what network is that?
That's going to be the Fox game. So that's going to be Aikman and and what's his fuck?
Joe Buck.
Tony Rama, great haircut on old Joe Buck on the internet.
Yeah. By the way, my theory on Tony Romo is he's the same announcer that he was as a player. Really good in the regular season, hits a wall when he gets to the playoffs. Wow. Yeah, he had a bad day. Everything he said ended up being wrong, and I don't dislike the guy. I'll take him over Dan Fouts any day of the week and twice on. Oh,
that Dan Fouts dude! Why was he talking? He was talking again this weekend. Why was he talking this weekend? What happened? What was going on there? How'd that?
What was wrong? What happened? He was all right.
What did you didn't listen then? That's what you just said.
No, I didn't. I had TV on. I had a game on. I didn't listen. No, what happened?
Just listening to the words that are coming out of some man's mouth, watching the same game as you is just very interesting. Whenever it's just nowhere near what you're thinking, it's like, what the fuck is wrong?
He's trying to open your mind up a little bit, Pat.
He's wrong though. He just leaves things out. He forgets things. He does. He's just. I didn't enjoy him. I bet he's a great guy as a human, but I did not enjoy watching a game with him, which is basically what you're doing with the commentators. You're watching a game with those motherfuckers.
No, you're right. You're 100% right. But Jared, I will take Vikings and I will take the Patriots to beat the Jags. And we'll see. I don't care. I don't know. I don't know if they cover or not. 9's a lot. Who knows? Yeah. They'll probably cover.
I like the Patriots-Eagles in the Super Bowl. It's going to be a rematch of the first time the Patriots won 3 in 4 years. The final game was against the Eagles. I see them going to 3 in 4 years, again facing the Eagles. Not to get ahead of ourselves of who I think is going to win, but I just think that Philly team, they've got an edge. And, I think it's going to be hard for Minnesota to get back to playing the way they did in that game. It's just too much of an emotional letdown. And let's not forget, it took a fucking miracle to keep New Orleans from winning in their own stadium. So,
by the way, I could have been punting next week. We could have not even had this show. Just for future reference.
Oh, for Morstead or for who?
Saints win and Morstead decides that he can't punt somehow medically. They say in a week you're going to feel terrible. I
think they would have signed you up even with your public displays of marijuana smoking.
That's not a suspension. You and I both know that.
I know, but I'm saying, wouldn't you? Well, maybe they wouldn't test you.
They would definitely test me. I would definitely fail for the first time a substance of abuse test.
Oh, so you just get put in the program? You'd still play? Okay,
I'd still play. Fine. I'm not suspended. It would just be like.
But then,
and I wouldn't.
How long for that test to come back? Because if that test comes back within 4 or 5 days, you get put in the program. You can't smoke anymore. You're not going to be a good football player.
No. Because I can smoke because they don't. It would be like 2 weeks there where they would have to figure it out. There'd be a lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
There's a lot of paperwork going on. And I'd still be able to make it. And then, bang, if the Super Bowl happens, whoop, whoop, retirement day after at Super Bowl again, 2 years in a row. Anybody ever thought of that? Nope. Bang, bang, boom. Here we go. I don't know.
Like Peyton, I'm going to go, I don't know, but I'm going to go home and smoke a bag of marijuana, Susie, whatever Peyton did.
He said.
Instead of going over to hug Papa John like he did, you go hug your dealer.
Kissed him right on the face, Papa John, old Peyton. Right on the face.
I'm not sure AJ and I would have let you out of your Laces Out contract.
I honestly don't think I could perform it right now anyway, because I thought about I could probably go murder a ball or two for sure. But am I in the mood to want to be in the fourth quarter of a playoff game in Philadelphia on like the 2-yard line, backed up with a minute left, and you're up 1. Your team's up 1. So that's like, okay, so you have to punt here, and this has to be a big ball. This has to be a big ball, and we have to get good coverage, right? Because if not, they're just going to kick a field goal, game's over. This is a situation for a punter. This is a actual pressure situation that could occur for a punter that nobody even thinks about. And it's like, I don't know if I want to be in that situation. I was laying on a beach at that moment watching this game. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to be doing that in a week, in 7 days. I don't think I could do that. So that was a lot of second thoughts. I think I would. By the way, they would have never offered me. Just AJ, for what you said. They know that I have not punted a ball in forever. But if hypothetical had popped up, I don't know if I'd even be able to figure it out at this moment. There's no way. I'm like, fucking right in the middle of Philadelphia, dude. These people are just going to throw fucking beers at me. That'd be a good time, but I don't know if I want to do that. You know what I mean?
Pat, I can't believe we haven't asked AJ this all year long, because you were on the Falcons roster last year, right? Played a game for them. And did you get any calls this year from anybody?
No, I retired. I officially, I guess, kind of.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I wasn't going to go anywhere last year, and I was there 4 weeks for North Atlanta. So no, I was not.
Well, I figured someone would have called. I mean, Ryan Shazier goes down, like Mike Tomlin's not on the phone.
No.
Get me, Hawk.
If they watched any of the practice footage from Atlanta, they would not call. Jerry might look like a one-legged guy run on a stump.
A little humility over there.
No. Awesome.
Just saying, when you're bone on bone in there, you can't really cut too well.
Without a little Toradol.
Zero Toradol shots in 11 years, bro.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I know. Believe me, I know. They didn't give him in Green Bay. I was looking.
No, that's the dumbest thing ever. Jerry, I don't even know if I can do a show on it. That was literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard. If somebody told you, hey, you are allowed to get this ingredient right before you cook that'll guarantee your meal will be good, would every chef on earth take it?
They did not give them. Pat, how many times did I got to tell you? They would not give Toradol shots in Green Bay.
That's insane. I mean, it would make you a better player, right?
It makes everybody
impervious to pain.
They
looked out for your future as a human being, Dr. Pat McKenzie.
Well, very nice of him. But like whenever the NFLPA or the NFL was trying to ban it, the NFLPA was like, I don't think you want to do that because this is like 70-80% of the league right now, and this will not be good. And the NFL was like openly about it in negotiations, right? They're like, we're going to ban Toradol or whatever because it's not safe if we're looking out for their health. In the NFLPA, I feel like they like slid them a note like, hey, like real talk, you cannot do that. Like, listen, we negotiate publicly about a lot of shit, but this one, like, we can't do because everybody in the league is on it. And everybody that represents the NFLPA are all the older players. And they're like, listen, well, you cannot get rid of Toradol. Whatever you say. It's a magic potion, Jerry. It is a magic potion. You go to warmed up, and you're warmed up, right? You're warmed up. How's it going? Whole body feels good. Bang, you're warmed up. Here we go.
Does it give you a high, or is it just make pain go away?
No, it just makes you feel, your whole body just feels good. It's not like a head rush at all. It's just like your body just starts, it's a super anti-inflammatory, basically. So all your little inflammations around your joints and everything like that, just like it kind of like, I don't know if they get covered or pushed away somehow, but I don't know how medicine works. Jesus Christ. But it's an anti-inflammatory, so it anti-inflames anything you got going on in your joints. For me, it made my knees feel so good and my ankles. Like immediately, I was like, and I felt like I could touch my toes, and I could never do that. So it was like a big moment. I'm like, my whole body feels good right now. This is great.
I'm a punter, not a doctor. Damn it.
Retired.
All right, so we're going just briefly around. Pat, you again like Jacksonville against Minnesota, right?
No, Eagles
against the Eagles. Okay,
but I like Jacksonville to cover. I like the Patriots to win though, just because they're the Patriots, and that's what happens.
And AJ is saying next week we're going to be talking about New England against Minnesota, and I got New England against the Eagles. So we got 3 different picks. Someone's going to have to be right.
I can't wait to not probably, but I made one more prediction, by the way, with Jacksonville covering. So just go ahead and lock that all up on all your betting sites. All right, I got to take a piss. I appreciate you guys.
And all right, good luck on Power 85 on Wednesday.
Respect.
And, yep. Thanks for joining.